The agreement that is being contemplated, we don't know much about it at the moment, to be honest. This was put forward by Andrew Nakamal, who is Vanuatu's policing minister. He actually travelled to Beijing on Friday last week, and he met with the Minister for Public Security. And this comes, as you mentioned, just less than 2 weeks since Anthony Albanese went to Vanuatu on his way to Solomon Islands, where he hoped he'd sign a sweeping Nakamal agreement between the two countries, but in the end left empty-handed. Now, the minister says that this agreement is going to be similar to other agreements that Vanuatu's already signed with a host of other countries, including Australia and also the United Kingdom, France and PNG. He says it will allow the two countries to better coordinate what they're doing in the policing space. But of course, this will cause quite a bit of unease, I suspect, in Canberra, because what we're seeing is a really concerted attempt by Australia to box out China as a security player in Vanuatu. And what this agreement seems to do is it seems to lay the groundwork, if you like, for China to potentially maintain an ongoing and permanent presence in Vanuatu. We've already seen police teams in the country for a couple of years now. We've already seen substantial donations of equipment from China to Vanuatu, and what this policing MOU would presumably do is essentially bed down that cooperation and allow it to continue. Now, that's something Australia won't want to see, but I guess what this demonstrates is that Vanuatu once again is asserting its own sovereignty here and making it very clear that it wants to continue to engage with China in the policing and security space, even if Australia believes that that's fundamentally a bad idea, not just for Australia, but for Vanuatu as well.
So how's Canberra likely to respond, Stephen?
Well, it'll be interesting to see, Ros. I mean, of course, the Nakamal agreements are still ongoing, and one of the things that Australia hoped to do with that Nakamal agreement, not specifically not alone, but partly, was to effectively put some hard limits around what China might be able to do in this space on the ground. So it'll be interesting to see whether this policing MOU is raised as part of those ongoing negotiations over Nakamal, or whether Australia really applies meaningful pressure on Vanuatu not to sign this MOU. It's difficult to say from this distance exactly how it will end, but if we are talking about, as the Foreign Minister does, about a permanent contest in the Pacific, this is yet another reminder that that contest is live, is ongoing, and is not going to end anytime soon.
And meanwhile, that Nakamal agreement between Australia and Vanuatu still hangs in the balance. What's the latest on that?
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Ros. We don't know exactly when this is going to be finalised. A few weeks ago, officials were saying that they hoped this could be done by the end of the year, but it's not clear if that's going to be possible. The difficulty is just the really fraught and fluid coalition politics that you've got in Vanuatu. Every time a Prime Minister wants to get anything landed, he has to navigate through multiple parties. Mr Napa, the Prime Minister, is no different. He has to get this past all of his ministers. The sticking point a few weeks ago seemed to be this provision that Australia wanted to insert that would effectively stop China or other external players coming into Vanuatu's critical infrastructure space without Australia's agreement, or at the very least without Vanuatu running that past Australia. That does seem like a difficult circle to square, because that's pretty important for Australia, and yet some inside Vanuatu see this as an infringement upon Vanuatu's sovereignty. So the two sides are going to have to find a compromise, some sort of way through the middle, if they're going to finalise this agreement. Whether they can or not, we'll find out over the coming weeks and possibly over the coming months.
Thanks, Stephen.